Hello and welcome to the regular Friday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Tonight we shall be discussing obviously Arsenal away, doing a predicted lineup, discussing their injuries. There's some transfer news. There's some new PSR rules coming that have been voted on, which I'm sure you're all not interested in. And with that, I've got two regular guests on the show, regular Friday guests. Steve, how are you, Steve?
I'm well, man. I can't complain. The interesting thing though is that the weather has finally turned and the temperatures have dipped in the Great Lakes area, and so now we're in that hoodie, jacket, and beanie weather now. And of course, this is my favorite time of year. So I'm absolutely just buzzing for that. And of course, obviously, the Premier League kicks back up again on Sunday as our beloved Tottenham Hotspur are about to make North London lily white. So the future is bright and the future is lily white. How about that? I rhymed.
Yeah, that's good. You're a poet and you don't know it.
Yeah.
Right. And Alan, how are you?
Good. I'm all sunshine and rainbows. It's been raining here, but now we have sun all of a sudden. So that's why my background got all messed up. Thanks, son. But doing good. Excited that this international break is finally over, and I don't think we have another one until March.
Probably. Yeah. There'll be friendlies then before the World Cup starts about June the 11th, I think. Yeah,
good riddance to the international breaks.
Yeah, I'm sort of fine. Still carrying this throat bug, this strep thing, but I'm on the bay leaf tea with honey and lemon and apple cider vinegar with a pinch of ginger. Right? I know how to treat these things. I'm fine, actually. It won't defeat me. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I might sound a bit throaty or nasal, but you're just going to put up with it. Right, I'm still buzzing. Right, Arsenal away, Steve. How are you feeling going at this game?
I'm feeling pretty good. As a matter of fact, it was in the back of my mind as the United States, were playing their two friendlies over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and in the back of that mind, I was thinking about exactly what this match is going to look like. And whether or not this club is ready for this type of step up in competition. Now, granted, we have seen some good performances through the first 14, 15 games of the season, and we've seen some bad performance, including that match against Chelsea a couple matches ago. And I know that's got a lot of fans nervous because of the, I guess you can say, the hustle, the fight, the passion, and so now all of a sudden, we're dealing with a new low bar now. Over the course of the last week, I've heard different podcasts talking about how they just want to see fight and passion, win or lose. And I'm like, well, wait a second. I thought this was a big club. I thought Tottenham Hotspur, maybe it's just me, but I thought we're a big club, right? So the expectation actually has to be a win, right? Yes, there's going to be pressure on the players to perform. Yes, there's going to be pressure on Thomas Frank. But that being said, when I think about this in totality, and maybe this is kind of funny, but we've already played Arsenal once this season. Down there in Asia in the summer tour, and believe it or not, both teams were actually trying hard and playing very hard in that game, and we were able to come away with the result. And so, from that standpoint, there's already familiarity. I get the impression that this team probably feels confident going into this one because, quite honestly, they should feel confident coming into this one. And so, from that standpoint, I don't know how you guys feel, but I actually kind of share that same confidence. Yes, there's questions around who's going to be in the starting 11 in certain position groups. But that being said, it's like the way that I look at this is when I think about our team's road form so far this season, we have actually been far away better on the road than we are at home. For whatever reason, whether it's a confidence issue, who knows? But for whatever reason, this team is actually very good on the road and have shown the ability to go somewhere, even in hostile territory, and pick up 3 points. Right? In situations where maybe some fans otherwise would think that we would lose that match. We turned up and showed up on the road. And so from that standpoint, when you kind of factor everything together, the way that I look at this is that I would assume that this is going to be a matchup where at the very least we're still going to walk away with some sort of result, whether that's a tie or whether or not we find a late winner. And so from that standpoint, I actually kind of like our chances going to the Emirates and pulling out the first leg here in this version of the North London Derby.
Alan, how are you feeling about this game?
The North London Derby is always like Thunderdome. All the rules go out the window, and anything can really happen. And I think back to things like a masked Harry Kane scoring a goal, an unbelievable goal from an almost impossible angle to put that ball into the net. But we have horrible heartache too, and Arsenal right now have the luxury of being not only the top team in the Premier League, but at the top of the charts in the Champions League. So they're firing on all cylinders. They do have some key injuries, not the least of which is to Gabriel Magalhaes in the back, and he scores goals against scores. He's a danger in the air. Scored with his head last time I think we played them, not in a friendly last season. As Steve pointed out, we did beat them in preseason, and it wasn't even a lucky win. We dominated that game, if I remember. We did well. My only concern is this going to become a set piece game where the winner takes it from a corner or a free kick or something like that? Seems like both teams have seen a lot of success from set pieces. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just a different style of play. There will be a lot of wrist wrangling, kind of wrangling and fist wrangling and whatnot, and a lot of sound and fury that may signify nothing, and the winner comes from a set piece. But either way, as long as I'm entertained, that's really all I care about. We have the benefit also of having a fantastic away record.
Yeah.
So in fact, I feel more confident knowing that we're playing at the Emirates, even though we never do that well at the Emirates. We happen to be on form away. So let's hope for the best away form that we can think of. We do have a lot of players coming back from injury, which is really a positive for us. I think it's just people have been away for a couple of weeks. Some of people coming back from injury more than a couple of weeks. So even though they're available, is this are they going to be the right mix together? Have they been practicing enough? What's been going on with them? So it'll be interesting. Lots of injuries between the two teams.
Adrian, before I hand it back off to you, two things that have just popped into my mind. Number one is the fact that Arsenal doesn't concede a lot of goals at home. They're actually, I think when it comes to goal concession, I think they're first in the league when it comes to home form. And they're absolutely brilliant defensively at home. And the last time that we beat, the second thing is the last time that we beat Arsenal at the Emirates was 15 years ago, November 20th, 2010. So this is not exactly an area in which we actually get results. If we do beat them, generally it's at home. But that being said, I would like to think that I don't know how you feel about this, but it just has a different feel. I like the fact that we've been able to handle our business away from N17. We just seem to play better on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling confident going into this game. I don't know why. I actually believe we're going to win. I mean, we have to break that hoodoo there sometimes. and why not? And usually it happens when it's most unexpected, when we've done it as well. I mean, we've gone there with weak teams before, injured teams, and come away with results, you know. I mean, we got a 4-4, didn't win. Aaron Lennon scored an equaliser when Redknapp was there.
Right,
and
right.
And we got the 3-2 win when Kabul scored the late winner after being 2-0 down. No one would give us a prayer in that.
Yep.
I mean, we beat them 2-0 in the League Cup, didn't we, with Kane and Dele Alli?
Right.
I mean, I think we beat them in 22, though. Maybe that was...
The last one you were talking about when we were in 2010 when we were down 2 at the half and we came back and beat them 3-2. That was the last time we beat them at the Emirates.
Right.
Is there a double with Vandervaart?
Maybe we did it like in the League Cup. Maybe we beat them there like in a League Cup or FA Cup type of tie. But like as far as the Premier League goes, that was it.
Yeah. So the record's not good. I mean, there are about 20 games in front of us in the history between the two clubs. I mean, our away form is very, very good. I mean, it's the best in the league. And that's what I'm basing on. We're going to go there. All right, they're not defending. They're losing Gabriel. Both teams have got players out. We've got more players out than they've got out. So injuries are not going to be an excuse. Solanke will be... Moani will be back wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And Bergval's back. He can play as well. And I think... I think we're going to go there and give it a go. I mean, Frank will press. I mean, they will probably pin us back for the first 15, 20 minutes. If we get through that spell, then we'll gradually take the game to them. I think it's, I just think we'll be strong. And we're not an easy team to beat. We're not an easy team to beat now. We're very resolute. And I think Frank will pick a team to do the job, And we will get into that. I mean, I think we've only got 7 injury woes now, guys. I think Maddison and Basum, we know, in long term. We're expecting to see Decky in December.
I heard Gray was back.
Yeah, Gray's back, is he?
Mm-hmm. Same with Davies.
Yeah, I heard that Gray and Davies are almost back. I don't think they're going to be picked, but Solanke, he might be a week or 2 away. Dragason's
already on the ground.
He played against Dorian and behind closed doors. So, the injury front is you got to look at these and think, well, who's a regular player? Well, Davies wouldn't be a regular. Dragason wouldn't be a regular. Even Gray wouldn't be a regular yet. I mean, I like the player.
Kulusevski's definitely a regular.
Kulusevski and Maddison would be.
Yeah.
And so Solanke and Basuma, he's played his last game for Spurs. But I think they're going to increase. They've got the option of another year's contract. I think they're going to, if they don't sell him in January, they'll extend that contract just so they can get some money for him. But he's not got a future at Spurs.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So, have you guys got any other comments on that at all? No.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Kulusevski is I heard he was down in Dubai over the international break. Apparently, there was a camp involving multiple Spurs first teamers that weren't a part of their national team doing drills down there in Dubai on the grass. And Kulusevski actually participated, and I heard that everything with the knee, everything, I guess it was the knee and an ankle injury that was really slowing him down. But apparently from everything that was coming out of it, that Kulusevski came back to Hotspur away with no aches and pains. And I think he's about to resume training with the first team on grass.
Yeah.
Maddison I was watching his video with Angry Ginge. If you guys watch that stuff, he did a video. I didn't know he's now the proud parent of another set of twins.
Yeah,
he's got 2 sets of twins and a middle one.
He can afford it.
Yeah.
So he's got a basketball team full of kids. Is that what you're saying now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He's got a basketball team full of kids.
He can go 5v5.
Yeah, and a groin strain. Yeah.
Right.
Excuse the cough. Right. So we'll get into the game. We'll talk about transfers afterwards. So I can't stand them basically, but. Predicted lineup. I mean, I didn't bother doing. I usually do them for fun anyway, and throw them in a WhatsApp group so everyone can tear it to pieces, right? But I mean, obviously the back five. I mean, let's talk. I mean, Vicario and goal, guys. Yeah.
Yep.
So then, it's just you doggy's got to play at left back in this game, surely. I mean,
yeah, I think you doggy. It depends on if he's going to start Odebear. I think what we're seeing is the budding relationship between Destiny and Wilson, and I think they've convinced the fans at the very least that this is a good pairing on the left side. So if they were to play Wilson Odebear up front, I think Destiny. Otherwise, Wilson is wasted because Jed Spence is good defensively, but I think offensively he lacks what Destiny brings.
But it's also the link-up play on the left side, right? You actually want a natural left footer,
exactly.
Obviously, passing forward to another natural left footer, right? And so you're going to be whether it's Odebear or whether it's Destiny Udogie, if you're gonna play 1-2s on the touchline, or if you need somebody to make a long pass or dink over the top while hugging the touchline, it's better to have the natural left footer Destiny Udogie. Whereas, unfortunately, with a guy like Jed Spence, he's got to open up his hips and pass with the right foot. And unfortunately, those passes tend to go a little bit more inverted. And so Odebear is going to have to come in, or Xavi's going to have to drop deep to make that pass, right? And so now you're taking guys out of space, and your whole attack has to reset, which is why we see a lot of umbrella play.
It just depends too, because we've got to deal with Bukayo Saka on that side, and they may want Jed Spence to lock him down potentially.
I like the idea of Udogie, though. I here's the thing. It's like I like Jed Spence, and I do appreciate his 1v1 defending skills, but it's not like Wilson Odebear is terrible in that. Destiny Udogie is terrible in that department either. It's like he's actually a very capable 1v1 defender. You know what I mean? And me personally, I would take the guy with the higher ceiling, and I actually happen to think that might be Destiny Udogie.
I think we're going to need to be offensive against Arsenal. We can't just sit back and let that and absorb. They will score on us if we do that. So I think we kind of have to temper some of our defense with some good offense. And as you said, that link up, being able to just kick left foot to left foot, down the line is pretty good. And we've seen it very effective in the other games.
Yeah, I want your doggy in. I want him all the time when he's fit. I want another left back at the club, but I want him. I want left-footed players in left-footed positions. Right-footed players in positions. Spence, he can go. He can compete with Porro on the right, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Right? I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. So, all right, you doggy on the left, all in agreement now.
Yep.
I think the centre backs pick themselves, unless Frank's going to go to the back five. So,
it might be a possibility. We haven't necessarily seen it so far in the Premier League. I think the last time we actually saw a back five was against PSG in the Super Cup, and it actually worked pretty well. But that being said, it's like maybe that might be something where they start it, and at the half they switch, because they know for the first 20 to 25 minutes you're going to see a lot of pressure from Arsenal, and if we're going to be in a situation we're going to be pinned back for 15 minutes, you actually might want to have like a back 7, back 8, so you might benefit from 3 center backs and 2 wing backs in that situation, just so you don't allow guys like Declan Rice or Saka to occupy space and just ping balls into the box.
Do you think we line up more like what we did against PSG?
I don't
either.
I mean, it could for one-off games. To do it against Arsenal, and it came unstuck. You can imagine reaction to that. I just I get it. People like a back five. It's not. I'm not a fan of a back five, but everyone to their own taste.
I'm a fan of it. I actually am a big fan of it too, right, especially if you're a counter-attacking team. I'm kind of a big fan.
That's fine, right? It's just I always prefer 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, which is the same. So, but to me, we play all our pre-season games. You're playing 4-3-3, whether it's 4-2-3-1, it's the same difference really. And we played all the games in the Premier League 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 so far. The only time we've gone to a back five is to see a game out when we're throwing a centre back on, but it's not been part of an initial game plan. So I don't see him changing. But having said that, my team selections haven't been great recently. And Frank keeps pulling rabbits out of the hat that we don't expect. So
I thought an old chap like you would like a 4-4-2. You know what I mean? That old style push and run, that bump and run type of old school play with two strikers up top.
I think it has its merits, 4-4-2.
Yeah.
But I think it's a question of like when you got the 4-2-3-1 or 4-3 there, you've got 3 in the middle. There's when it's usually 4-4-2. What is the midfield for? If it's wide midfielders, or is it wide? Are you playing wingers and leaving 2 in there, right? Which like you're 2 against 3 against most teams. If you've got a 10 in there as well, all right, a bit further forward, which you expect anyway, I think it helps a lot more. It gives them more of an out ball, you know. Whereas, so I think 4-4-2 went out of fashion. I'm not saying all systems work and fail. Look, they all work and fail, but if you've got the right players to do the job, I mean, we've got the players to play a back 5. I mean, it could be. I mean, going on there, if it was, if Danso was playing with I think the advantage it would give you, then you play Porro, because you can give him license to go forward and stay forward, not worry about his defensive quality.
Right.
Because then you'd have Danso coming over the right, and you'd either have Paulina or Bentancur, whoever's looking after that right spot, or even Sarr, right? Because he's got more legs on him.
Yep.
That could cover for Porro going forward, and he would be creative. Udogie's not the greatest when he's down that final third, getting across in the box and all that, but his physical presence is a pain for other sides. So it could work if you're going with Porro, but like then you're talking about if you're going to go Paulina and that in midfield, I mean, like, Paulina and Bentancur, what, Simmons has to sit out, or you play him on the left instead of Odobert with Mwani, and then you play Kudos tomorrow, so you play Kudos then. But now you're really going away with your number 10.
I would think that they're going to try to play like they did against Chelsea, and Xavi will probably be in that 10 role. But instead of a guy like Bentancur, they might bring in a guy like Lucas Bergvall for the physicality. And so your midfield 3 is going to be Paulinho, Bergvall, Xavi, with Odobert, Randall Colomwani / Richarlison, whoever's playing up top with Kudus on the right.
Yeah, because then you see you're going with the front 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we've seen Thomas Frank bring out Lucas Bergvall in these type of matches where they need to match physicality. For whatever reason, he kind of likes to lean on Bergvall in those moments. This is something that Bentancur doesn't necessarily do. The only problem with a guy like Lucas Bergvall is he's still young enough where he kind of drifts a little forward and he doesn't necessarily maintain his midfield, I guess you can say his midfield box. He likes to kind of get forward and likes to make things happen, which is actually a blessing, but it also can be a curse as well too, especially when he needs to track back because he's got a little too forward. But that being said, it's like I look at this and it's like, if we're going to push up and kind of almost play with with attacking with 4 and 2 up top, the question that I have is if you're going to keep a wing back, is it going to be Porro or is it going to be Udogie, right? Would you feel more comfortable with Kudus, I guess you could say, moving in to play the attacking 2 with Porro on the right hand side, or is it the other way around where you're going to have Destiny Udogie maybe a little higher up the pitch, or like vice versa, like who are you going to keep to maintain that back shape?
Well, if you've got 3 at the back, you're giving license for both your fullbacks to get forward.
Yeah.
And usually,
if they're dropping Polina into that back 3, yeah, sure.
I just think that, then he's pretty solid, Dan. So he's a good player. I like him. I mean, like, and he's got good positional and awareness of danger as well, and he covers well on the right. He seems to know, where there's danger. So yeah, I mean, I think we can safely say that VDV and Romero are definitely starting.
Definitely.
Which does leave the midfield, the midfield 2. Just to me, I just think he may not. He may. It's an away game. What's he played in the away games as the pivot? Has he played the pivot mainly or what? Or is he? I can't recall offhand every game we've played, but fans don't seem to moan so much about Bentancur and Paulina playing together at away games as they do at home games.
Like I think as Paulina tends to score away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in general, we just play better away. I don't know what the mentality is behind that, but
yeah, I hope we sign him in January, to be honest with you, Paulina. I hope we
Yeah.
do. He's made the most tackles in the Premier League already this season.
And he's got a nice amount of goals.
Yeah. Well, I think VDV's got 6. I don't know when the commentators asked him, what have you set a rate, 15 or 20 for this season or something?
Yeah.
Isn't by the way, isn't Arsenal going to be without Gabriel and Hincapi this match as well too? Same thing with Calafiori. I think they're missing 3 key defenders this derby, correct?
Yeah, they are. I mean,
2 center backs and their left back, right?
I think Gyökeres is still out.
Yeah, he is.
And Gabriel Magalhaes is out. They still have Saliba, but they'll
Correct.
probably pay maybe like Lou. And they got, is it Skelly? They might play.
Yes.
Timber.
Timber. Well,
Yeah,
Timber's
Timber.
already been playing, I think, but Lewis Skelly, I don't think has been playing.
Right. So it's Gabriel that's out. Hincapi's out. Calafiori's out.
I think he's playing.
Calafiori?
Calafiori, I think, will be available. Whether they play him or not, I don't know, but I think he is available.
That kind of plays into our hand, doesn't it? You think?
If they're not used to playing together, yes.
So much of their set piece setup revolves around Gabriel because he uses that head to put the ball in, and he's so physical and he's so successful at it. To be fair, if he was ours, we'd probably be doing the same thing. So we do it with Romero.
I don't know, but with Arteta, I mean, I've seen him be cautious before, and they've blown a couple of chances they could have got the league title. Always at the end of the season, they seem to have blown it when he's been a bit cautious. Like going to places where like going to Man City for a point and things like that. And I just wonder we know Zubimendi will sit in front of them centre backs, especially if they're an odd pairing. And I'm just wondering if Rice will be constrained as well and told not to get so far forward or not.
Maybe.
I think Odegaard's out as well, isn't he? Odegaard's out,
but he hasn't been as effective. I don't think they've been depending on him. Now that they have Eze, they've been depending more on Eze. Which is another reason why I think we're going to see Xavi play. I think this is a game Xavi needs to prove himself. We didn't get Eze, we wound up with Xavi, and I feel like there's something to that in this game. There's going to be pride won and lost.
Yeah. And
we're getting healthy at the right time too, and that's what I like is we're starting to get healthy at the right time over the next couple of weeks, and that's actually that actually makes me a little bit happy. But I think from the standpoint of this game, I'm looking, I'm trying to think of exactly where we're going to have advantages on the pitch, just considering. If your back line is going to be Timber, I think Hincapi might be available, Piero Hincapi, and I think Christian Mosquera might be available as well too, right? So the question is, are we going to have space in the box where that might be an advantage, whether we're going to play direct or, whether that's something that we're going to try to focus off the wings to try to play balls in? Is this going to be something where we're going to try to play vertical over the top with both Romero and VDV, trying to play balls forward, trying to play onto our speed? In that type of situation, or is this something where we might be able to play direct through the midfield, with our link-up play, right? So I'm just trying to think from a tactical advantage, whether or not these injuries, because they have a lot of injuries right now. So no Gyökeres, and I think Kai Havertz isn't available as well too, right? So Yeah, so it's like, who are they going to be able to counter with up top, and whether or not this is actually, tactically speaking, where are our advantages going to be on the pitch?
I think the pressure's on them though. I mean, because look, we've been without Kulusevski, Maddison, and Solanke. I mean, very important to us, all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I know who plays up front for them apart from Saka. I think Martinelli,
Mikel Merino, and usually
Merino.
in the middle.
I think Marino's fit, so it'll be in.
Oh, and what's his ass from Crystal Palace?
Eze.
Yeah. So hold on, I got it right here. So,
and it'll either be Trossard or Martinelli on the left.
Yeah, so they're without Odegaard, Martinelli, Havertz, Gyökeres, Manduke,
Madueke.
Yeah, Madueke. They're out with he's out as well too. So, yeah.
Well, I mean,
they have the depth though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't make excuses. They spent more money on players than anyone else.
Recently. Aren't they playing that 15-year-old? They're playing that 15-year-old winger, aren't they?
I don't know.
What's his name?
God,
he's good.
Yeah.
I do think counterattacking football would be the way I would foresee us playing. We do have the speed.
I would agree.
Yeah, I do expect us to try and hit them on the break. I mean, they are going to have more of the ball, even without Odegaard in the team, aren't they? They're going to have more of the ball than us, aren't they? So it's just but we've been very solid at the back. We've been able to stoke up pressure. Fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah, Matt. Sorry, the guy I was thinking about. Guy that I was thinking. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
No, go on. You can carry on.
I was going to say the guy that I was thinking about was Max Downman. That 15-year-old kid that they've been playing. Yeah, that kid is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought that there's nothing worse than losing a North London derby. Chelsea derby don't come into comparison with me. I know it does for some Spurs fans, but you don't want to lose it. But realistically, apart from us three are feeling confident and positive, I fully understand that the majority of our fan base and every other fan base got their eye on this game are going to think we're going to get spanked, right? And so the pressure's not off. It's not a question of not expected to win by a majority of our fan base. We know what happens when we lose anyway, whether we're expected to lose anyway. We know what the fans' reaction is going to be. And then we got PSG on Tuesday to follow up. So these two games are not games we're expected to win. As I posted on our page, YouTube page, I'd bite your hand off for a draw on each one. I would. But winning is achievable at Arsenal. It is achievable. I think the problem in the past has been a lack of belief or negative managers that have coached us.
I asked ChatGPT what it thought. It thought that Arsenal was going to start out strong, but that we were going to come back and tie it.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I get it though, right? Because you had, we had such a disappointing performance when it comes to, I guess, passion fight in those areas against Chelsea, where it just seemed like anything that we tried was automatically shut down. And it just seems we played, we were lethargic for 90 minutes. There was a carryover against Manchester United in that first half before finally we actually, broke through and we were actually playing with confidence in that second half versus Manchester United. So from that standpoint, I understand exactly why fans are feeling a little bit nervous about this one, because when you look at, the way Arsenal plays at home, and you look at where they're sitting at the table, sitting at the top, right? I would think a lot of, Spurs fans might be very apprehensive about this one, especially coming off a 2-week break. But that being said, it's like, I look at it. I try to take a step back from it from an emotional standpoint. And I'm like, well, wait a second. We've already played them once this season already. Yes, it was in the preseason, but we've already got a look at exactly how Mikel Arteta is probably going to set up against us from that standpoint, but also for the fact that we're one of the best road teams in the Premier League. For whatever reason, we don't play with a lot of pressure when we're away from N17, right? It's like, for whatever reason, it seems like when we play at home, we put ourselves under so much pressure that I think it actually kind of works against us. But for whatever reason, when we go on the road, it doesn't necessarily matter who we play. We seem to actually get a result, whether that was coming back from behind against Brighton. From that standpoint, it's like, we did a good job at, up at Man City. We did a good job against Brighton coming back from that one. We beat Leeds right before the last time. The October break, and it just seems like things work out a little bit better for us on the road. So coming into this one and understanding that Arsenal's dealing with, I guess you could say, more of an injury situation than what we're going through right now, and we're kind of starting to get a little healthier. I don't know, man. I look at this match as an opportunity for us to steal 3 points. Like I feel like we can actually do this.
Right, let's move on. So, midfield. Is Frank going to be bold, Alan, and not play the expected 2 holding midfield pivots we expect?
Well, look, it's my opinion that I have to caveat that. My opinion, if we sit back and just try to absorb pressure the whole, like Frank has done in the past, I feel like they're going to score on us. I bite my tongue every time I say it, but right now they are the in-form, probably the best team in the world. They have the record. They have the depth in their bench where they've kind of got the setup to do well. But I hope that Frank, because they've only lost 1 game, right? Was it against Sunderland that they lost? Who did they lose to?
I think
Liverpool.
Oh, they lost to Liverpool. That's right. Now, Liverpool didn't just sit back and let them play their game, so that they could get into set pieces at corners and stuff like that and score. They kind of went at them, although it was, if I remember, the game wasn't that great. And I think maybe they tied against Sunderland. And Sunderland played and kind of went after them. So I'm hoping that Frank is watching those types of games, recognizes that maybe it might be too much to just sit back and absorb, considering they're a set piece team. They want to get into those corners. They want to hit us on the set pieces, and we don't want that, and Vicario has shown that he's getting better, but I certainly don't want 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 corners in the game. He's definitely going to let one in. Statistically, how many times before a goal goes in from Arsenal on the corner, I'd be curious to see. But I'm sure they've got a pretty good percentage of corners that they're converting. So
who would you like to see as your midfield pair then? I mean, like if one's going to be able to go and get forward.
I would want to see Xavi in the middle, and I think Paulinho and Sarr, or Paulinho and Bergvall, one or the other. I think Sarr can be just as physical as Bergvall. He's got seems like virtually unlimited energy. He runs like every blade of grass on the field. So, and he has the ability to convert from outside the box. He's done that in the past. And up until not too long ago, Sarr was sort of like a guaranteed starter. So I don't know what happened where he dropped off, but I feel like this is the kind of game where he could come back and do something. So probably Sarr over Bergvall. And again, Bergvall, I know he might have gotten past the concussion protocols, but I'd be a little hesitant starting him. Maybe he brings him on off the bench to ease him back into play.
Well, Sarr had a knock, wasn't he? Sarr had a knock, and they left him at Spurs, even though they played a game there, right? So this is the thing when players come back and managers say available. Yeah, are they starters available, or are they just going to be bench available and then be brought on and not risked, even though they're just back? Steve?
Sure.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that means that Bergvall and Sarr will start on the bench?
No, I actually think Bergvall's going to start because, again, it was almost the same principle against Chelsea where you wanted him in that lineup because of the physicality and also the pace and his defensive prowess. He's actually not a bad defender at all. That's the reason why I prefer Bergvall over Sarr, because I think Bergvall's the better defender. Plus, when it comes to pace, I think they're equal, but I also think the physicality aspect is probably going to be needed, which is why I think we're going to see Bergvall in that position next to Polina. Because remember, Rodrigo Betancourt played a full 90 against Mexico in this international window, and then he played 65 minutes until he pulled the red card against the United States in that second match. And so he had a very active window. And so when you think about the fact that he probably took off on Wednesday, didn't get back to England until Thursday. You have a day of recovery and then a day of training on Saturday, which is light training. So I would probably assume that Betancourt is probably going to sit in this one. And so I guess from that situation, it's like, who do you feel is better in this match at that position? And me personally, I think Sarr is better actually going forward and playing a little bit higher up. I don't necessarily think you want to put that put Sarr in a guy like that who may or may not be a defensive liability in a double pivot, where you have a guy like Lucas Bergvall who does give you the pace and does give you the physicality, and I think he's just a better defender.
I think he'll start with Betancourt and Paulinho, just to weather any.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
To weather any storm, and they would provide a bit of a back for Simmons in the 10.
I guess the question is how much is in the tank with Betancourt, considering he played a lot of minutes in this international break.
Yeah. And then got a red. And then saw red.
He saw red.
Yeah. I mean, but you can with those midfielders. It is a game of 90 minutes. You have got 5 subs, and if it's a hell for leather North London derby, then you'd be bringing Betancourt on when Arsenal's legs were tiring. So there is that.
There is that. They've surprised us and they've disappointed us. The 3 of them together, Xavi, Polina, and Betancourt. Sometimes they can be exciting, other times not so exciting. So I hope that with the away form being our in form, perhaps they'll be in form as well at the Emirates.
Yeah. Well, Xavi did score for Holland.
Did?
Yeah. So did Tel. He scored for France.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in pretty good form. Odegaard, to me, he's only a natural left winger, and to me, he's developing into quite a good player. He's getting better and better. He's getting used to it. So up front, you got options. You can bring Tel on later. We don't know if this masking is a bluff and Richie starts. If Richie starts, I'm reversing my win to a draw at best. Excuse my cough, right? Yeah. What do you think?
You mean up front?
Yeah,
I think if Moani is available, he may wear a mask. He'll have to wear a mask that'll look like something out of Phantom of the Opera, because he's got to cover his jaw. And I just, Harry Kane had a mask to cover his nose. Sonny had kind of like a full mask to cover his orbital socket, if I remember correctly, but he has to cover his jaw. And I don't know how they're going to do that in a mask form without making him look like something out of a Halloween nightmare. But regardless of that, I think if he's available, you start Moani, because I think he is probably our most effective, most experienced center for, number 9. And that's what we loaned him for, games like this, to show up and have those moments. Richarlison has shown that he just doesn't have those moments in him. He just doesn't. He had the moment against Burnley, but that was the last time he had a moment.
He also had that moment against Manchester United. Yes, it was a redirection, but that being said, maybe that's what he needed to get off the schneid as far as goal scoring prowess goes, right? And so, but here's the thing, though, right? And let me ask you guys this question, and I want your guys' honest opinion. Knowing that Randall Kolo Muani, yes, he might be available, and it looks like he's going to be masked up in order to do that, do you take the risk of starting a guy like Richarlison because you may want to be a little bit more risk averse because you don't necessarily want to make that injury maybe worse, and so you bring him on in the 70th minute, 75th minute, and you only give him a couple minutes at the end of the match, and you let Richarlison or a Matisse Tell, something like that. You kind of take the heavy lifting in this one, where you might want to save Randall Colomwani for a game that's maybe not as physical as a North London derby.
Well, if you got Muani and Kudus, the only way Richarlison starts his game is on the left, as a physical presence to block off that left-hand side with you, Doggy. That if he started on the left, I don't want him starting in the middle. Nothing sticks to him.
Yeah,
I agree.
By the way, I mean, if Richarlison was going to start on the left, we already would have seen it this year, right? We haven't seen Richarlison play the left at all this season, right? So that lets me know that Thomas Frank doesn't look at him as a left-sided winger, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. Like a big part of me wonders whether or not Richarlison's going to start this one, and whether or not Frank is going to err on the side of caution, because these North London derbies tend to get physical. And when you have a guy like Randall Colomwani that's dealing with a broken jaw, I just wonder whether Frank is going to err on the side of caution and play Richarlison up top to start, and then maybe use Randall Colomwani later in the match. Versus the first 45, where there may or may not be a tendency where he could get injured even worse. That's just my thought on this one.
In that case, I would start Tell before him.
Yeah. I would too.
Tell through the middle before Richarlison. I'm serious. I've had enough for Richarlison. I'll support him while he's at the club, like Basuma and all that. But him and those two and Davies will all be gone at the end of the season. And if we're going to upgrade the squad, they're going to have to go. So if not in January,
I just think that the North London derbies, that's when you kind of throw a little bit of caution to the wind. You got to show up for those events. I think that a win against Arsenal at the Emirates will resound quite loudly. And it could forgive certain other sins, that sins can be forgiven if we beat Arsenal on Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, my only thought behind this is because we still have a lot of the season remaining, right? And we don't know when Dominic Solanke is going to be back, right? So from that standpoint, our striker pool is very shallow, right? And so, my thought process is like, okay, cool. And I'm thinking as Thomas Frank, it's like, I'd rather keep Randall Colomwani available for as much of the season as I possibly can and not necessarily risk him for one match. When you have a guy like Richarlison, you also have Matisse Tell, and you also have Dayton Scarlett, who might be available for this one as well, too, right? And so from that standpoint, it's like the way that I'm looking at this is like, I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Richarlison starts this one.
I would even play Scarlett over Richarlison.
Yeah. I would too.
Richarlison's not a natural finisher. He's not a natural finisher.
I would too, and Thomas Frank has already said that he already likes Dayton Scarlett. The only thing he needs is minutes. Well, it's like you have to know exactly what you have, and you wonder whether or not a North London army might actually bring out the best in a guy like Dayton Scarlett. Just saying.
Yeah,
he understands the magnitude of this match.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd like I say, it's got Kudus has to start. Muani has to start. And I'll be starting Odegaard because he's a natural left winger. I would understand it if Frank was being negative, like you said, and he didn't play, and he played Richie through the middle. If I see Richie on the left, that wouldn't bug me too much because he is a handful on the left. So, and that's all he is. His handful is hard worker. He presses, he chases down, all that. But you're a striker. Your first job's to score goals.
Yeah, which
he doesn't score enough for me.
I agree.
So let's go for your scores, guys.
Ooh.
You can go your scores in the chat.
Ooh.
I know for me, I have two. You made a good point, Adrian. If Richie starts, I guess I thought it would have been like a 2-2 draw. But if I didn't know that Colomwani was available, if he starts, I think we could probably get like a 1-0 win at the Emirates. I like it because I like the idea. Sorry, Steve. I like the idea of Kudus on the right back, strong. Again, this is a game where everyone is going to be up. I hope everyone is really up. Nobody's partying the night before. Everybody's hyped and ready. Because the North, it's going to be loud. Our players are going to be, Arsenal are going to be up for this game. They're going to pack the Emirates, and it's going to be a lot of chanting, all kinds of hate against us. And we have, Kudus is new to the team, not necessarily new to London or to this rivalry. But he, it's new. It's going to be new to Kolo Muani. He's not probably dealt with this level of aggression from the fans. We have a lot of young players too. So I got to imagine they need to be up for this mentally, but even before physically. But I like the idea of Kudus on the right, Muani in the middle, and Odegaard on the left. And if he has Destiny in back, linking up with Odegaard, I got to imagine a 1-0
win. 1-0.
Okay. So I look at this and I think to myself, this is Mohamed Kudus's first North London derby. This is Randall Kolo Muani's first North London derby. Same thing with Xavi Simons. Same thing with Paulinho. The reality is big time performers show up in big time games, right? These are the type of matches that create legends, right? And so if we think that a guy like Xavi Simons is going to be that guy, these are the matches that you step up and you perform in these type of matches. Same thing with Mohamed Kudus. That being said, we will leak one goal. We generally leak a goal, and whether it's going to be off a set piece or whether somebody's going to take a shot from outside the 18, because obviously we know Vicario's problems with the long shots, they're going to at least get one. That being said, I think that we're going to get two. And I'm going to predict a 2-1 Spurs win away. And mind you, I've been predicting draws for the last 6 weeks, right? Because it just is what it is, right? I just had no confidence in this team in their attack. But coming off the international break, we're going to have our lineup is going to be our strongest 11. And I think a part of me thinks that we're going to score 2. I think Paulinho is going to score again. He's probably there's going to be some sort of set piece where we have, and the ball kind of drops to his foot, and I think he gets one. And then I'm going to say that I think we're going to get a goal from either VDV or Romero off another set piece in the second half. So I'm going 2-1 Spurs on the road.
We've got 1-0, 2-1. I'm going for 0-2. Spurs to win 2-0.
Nice.
Yeah, I've just got a feeling about it that we're going to get the win.
Who are your goal scorers?
Goal scorers?
Mm-hmm.
Simmons and Romero.
Okay.
It's all good fun. Predictions in the chat if you want to join in. We've got 4 comments. I'll just go through them.
Paulinho, Van de Ven. Yeah, I think VDV scores. Paulinho and VDV. He's a better finisher than Romero.
Yeah. Do we think Romero's going to get a yellow card?
If he does, he's on a ban because he's got 4 already.
Yeah.
Ronnie's going. Big up, Ronnie. 1-1. Faz, he's changed. Last year was 4-1. Every game was 4-1. This year, Faz 4's got the 4-0. Brian's going 3.
That's Dermatron territory right there. 4-0.
If it's scrappy, Brian, it will suit us. We can mix it. We can dig in there. We can mix that if it's scrappy. They're not soft. So back to the banners. So we got that. So these are fixtures coming up. PSG on Wednesday. Another easy game. In Fulham at home are not doing too well. Newcastle, these teams are below us. Newcastle away. We haven't done well. We're far better equipped to go there this time under Frank's system. Then we got Brentford. They're sort of, they win one, lose one sort of thing, but they're below us. Then we got Slavia Prague. Should beat them. Forest. I haven't put where it's home and away. I'm pretty sure that's away, actually. They're not having a great start to this season. They're down the bottom. Then we get Liverpool. Well, that's going to be tough, but that's at home. I believe we can beat anyone at home. And look, we need to see where they are. If they've settled down, if their new signings have settled in more by the time we come to play us. We could be flying by the time we're playing us, or we could be like stuttering like we have, or we could have fallen right off the pace. Then we got Palace as well. Now, Palace have done really well, but they're below us. I mean, like, and we don't know they're playing.
Yeah, but going
as well.
Yeah, but going to Selhurst Park and getting a win is a tough thing to do. A lot of good teams go down to Selhurst Park and don't come away with a win. So I don't necessarily like that one, but I will say that Fulham at home and Brentford at home, two very winnable games, and I actually think that those are the type of wins that we need to kind of kick on our home form, and I like that. And you're absolutely right. I think by the time we hit Liverpool, depending on how things play out, this actually could be an opportunity for us to right the wrongs against Liverpool at home. Depending on how these matches play out, Liverpool is not Liverpool like we saw last year. They're beatable.
Time we play Fulham at home on the 29th, you'd be hoping that Solanke's back.
Yeah.
That's just sort of what they've led us to believe, like he is on the cusp of coming back.
I believe we're going to have a very strong finish to the season because I believe we're going to buy in January as well. It's just a question of, I don't expect us, I expect us to finish from 5th to 7th in this league, even though we're 5th at the moment on goal difference, which is an extra point, really. It's like having an extra point on goal difference. So all well and good. If you said to me, would we be in this position at the beginning of the season, I'd have said you were nuts, personally. I said it'd take us a while to get going. I still think we were going to finish 7th, 6th or 5th, but we wouldn't be up there so early, I mean, we've had some good results, haven't we? We talk about Man City away, to draw at Brighton, to beat West Ham away, for Ashton, basically, things like that. So it's been good.
Without the squad depth that other teams like Arsenal have, not losing is probably a pretty good result. So tying and kind of scraping, but as long as we're not losing game after game, because we know what that feels like.
And I get why Frank's been a bit conservative. Fix the back four, fix the midfield, then fix the forward line, then fix the link between the midfield and the forward line, which hasn't been fixed yet. There's no sort of fluidity in a play that way. We've got a lot of goals from set pieces. Anyway, that's that. Let's move on to this.
Your favorite topic.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Semenyo's got a 65 million release clause. And yet we were willing to pay 70 mil for Sylvina.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be a bidding war because no one's going to – this is going to be one of those who – like a real estate transaction, when suddenly people are bidding over the asking price. This is going to be that. Liverpool is in it. Arsenal's in it. We're going to be in it. Every team knows about this thing and every team wants it. So.
But on that, Steve, Liverpool in it. They've spent so much money. They need to, they need the players they've brought in to settle in. You're going to bring another player in that might. We know he's Premier League ready. But you're going to bring another player in to settle in or upset the apple cart there.
If Liverpool is going to bring anybody, it's going to be at the fullback position because they are absolutely lacking natural fullbacks at the left and even the right side. And I would probably think that if they are going to do that, that's probably where they're going to shop. As for Semenyo, here's the interesting thing. Right now, Bournemouth is in 9th place, tied on 18 points. And by the way, we're at 18 points as well, too. So they're right in the thick of potentially staying up there, higher up on the table, right? And a very big part of me still believes that, I don't necessarily think Semenyo is going to go in January. To me, I still think he's going to be a summertime buy. I guess it just depends on exactly what he's looking for and if he's ready to get out of Bournemouth. But that being said, we do know that funds will be available in January to improve this team. And if he wants to come, I think it's an absolute no-brainer considering that is our problem area in the attacking three is on that left-hand side. And I also think it actually helps Wilson Odegaard as well, too. It takes a lot of pressure off his shoulders and he's going to be able to develop. He's going to be able to be able to continue his developmental curve. But that being said, it's like I guess that's the question, right? Are they, is he going to want to come to Tottenham Hotspur in January, or is this going to be something where he's going to, I guess, he's got a release clause, so if somebody pays it, right? But that being said, it's like for a big part of me, I don't know, man. A big part of me think that this doesn't get done in January. I don't know.
To caveat that, let me throw this at you then, Al. I mean, if you want to deflect the other clubs from coming in, you go in for them in January and you break that release clause.
Yep.
Break 100%. And then say, right, okay, guys, you really want him? Put your cards on the table. Now, Liverpool need a left back, right? Or they need other positions. I mean, it's been talk about Mark Guehi, but you can talk about Guehi, and when all these rumours, this is what gets me. If you're Mark Guehi or a player is running down your contract, you don't leave in January, Palace. You've all the cards you've holding, all the cards, like Vlahovic is at Juve, right? You're holding all the cards, right? You wait till the summer where you command a massive signing on fee. The only thing that goes against that, you might never get a club like Liverpool coming for you again. That's the only thing that might go against you. But to me, with Semenyo, I think Spurs, if he's top of their list and that is the release clause, you hit it January.
Oh, for sure.
January, straight away, right? And then, right, you then see if the player wants to come. If he doesn't want to come, you can say, well, look, the player doesn't want to come to Spurs. He wants to go to Real Madrid or he wants to go somewhere else, whatever it is, a bigger club at this stage. And you let him go. Yeah. I would argue. Yeah, go on, Al.
I was just going to say, I think Semenyo, there are a number of teams hurting for that kind of position. I know Liverpool, again, that you brought it up, like Konate is going to be going to Real Madrid, and I've been watching Liverpool play. Konate's been playing like he's already got 1 foot in Real Madrid anyway. So they're looking for they're going to be in the market for a center back to replace Konate. Which you said is probably Mark Guehi. They probably want him. But they're going to need a Salah replacement because Salah's this season has not been. It's kind of like what happened with Sonny, where there's still fuel in the tank, but it's not. They're not getting the miles they used to get, and I think Salah this season is finally hitting that.
Yeah,
kind of over the hill mark. I think last season was probably his peak, and now it's just headed downward now. So I think they're looking at Michael Olise and they're looking at Semenyo, and if they can get Semenyo for 65 million, I think that's a lot less expensive than what Michael Olise will cost from Bayern. So as you said, and this is Tottenham. Speaking of Tottenham, this is our first transfer window without Daniel Levy at the helm. So we were talking about it when we first found out about Daniel Levy leaving. This is the statement transfer window for Tottenham. This is their opportunity to show, they can kind of foist all of the sins onto Daniel Levy and say and make some statement signings this transfer window, splash the cash so they can say, look, this is the new Tottenham. And I think that would win over a lot of fans.
Can I ask you a question real quick regarding release clauses, right? So, for instance, let's say that Liverpool actually triggers the release clause. Can Tottenham come back in and bid higher? Is there a situation where we can get into essentially a bidding war with Liverpool for a guy like Antoine Semenyo? Is that a possibility, or is it first come first served to the team that actually triggers the release clause?
I don't think so.
There might even be something with 5 million add-ons, but I think you take this player, you take him.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, you take him.
I mean, there are other options out there. I mean, if suddenly we got outbid by Man City or Liverpool or Man United or Chelsea or someone like that coming instead of like, okay, we'll give you 75 or 80 million, okay, there might be a bit. I think we're all right in the 70 mil range if there's 5 million add-ons on this. But I think above that, I'd pay it for Rodrigo, but we'll come to him anyway. On to him.
Well, real quick to answer Steve's question, I think you can. just like a real estate, I think it's very much like real estate. It's just a contract, and whoever bids the highest for the contract gets the opportunity to talk to the player. Now, again, you could be the highest bidder, and the player turns you down. So it'll be who can sell their project the best to Semenyo, and hopefully someone like Mohamed Kudus can sell the project to Tottenham to him, because I think they're country mates, I believe, and they play together for.
Well, the interesting thing about it is, you're looking at Tottenham now compared to last January, where you have a Kudus, Xavi Simons, and Randall Kolo Muani. And so from that aspect coming in, that's kind of an attractive attacking forward, whether you're going into Liverpool and you're wondering whether or not you're going to be able to get minutes out of Liverpool, because they still actually have a pretty attractive attack as well too, even though it's not necessarily firing on all cylinders. I guess the question is what is the juice worth the squeeze on a guy like Antoine Semenyo? Because yes, his release clause is 65, but is he the type of player where you would actually get into a bidding war and you're starting to talk 75, 80 million? Because I still think at 80 million, I still think it's worth it.
Yeah, me too. Because again, we see the dearth of players. There's just nobody available, at least not at this time. Maybe in the summertime you might have a little more leverage, but certainly not in the January transfer window.
Yeah. Well, having said that, though, I'll just to caveat that as well. I get your point. Rodrigo, there's been a lot of noise about Rodrigo at Madrid. He's not getting the game.
Right.
He's been coming on a sub or things like that. And there's been rumours of a loan deal, and then you read in one media, yeah, he's happy at the club, never want to leave him. And then another media, no, he wants to go. He wants game time because the World Cup's coming up in June, right? And then you're talking about now when they start saying prices, that means to him, Real Madrid are thinking, okay, if we get the offer, Alonso's not playing him, right? He can go either on loan, which might be a likely deal, or they'll sell him in January. And he's going to want World Cup time. So if the fact that you've got the caveat of the fact, okay, if you're coming on loan, you're going to get the game time at Spurs.
Yep.
All right. Then we may have to go again for someone else in the summer. He might fall in love with the club and decide he wants to sign. But again, the player has to agree. So he's another one I would take, though. His numbers are good. They've dropped off because of his recent history with Alonso and not getting the game time. Yeah. But his strike rate of 1 in 4 and his assists and all that, they're excellent. If you look at them all overall, if you're playing regularly, you're in the groove, you're getting the right stats, aren't you?
Well, he's in an interesting position because unlike other players who would be looking to upgrade on the team, playing for Real Madrid for so many years, he's already won a lot of stuff. He's been on Champions League winning teams.
He's won two.
Yeah, he's already got silverware in his closet. He's already got it. So really, it's just who can sell the best project. It maybe built. He wants to play more. That's the benefit. Where I'm not worried about just because Liverpool's a big team and they could win. He's already on a team that wins. So it's about him getting the game time. I think you're right, Steve. That it's about getting the game time that he's missing, and he's going cold, so to speak, because he's not getting the game time. He's not ready for games, and I think that's upsetting him.
To me, I guess the question is what's more valuable to you, right? Because yes, you're absolutely right. Rodrigo has won major trophies. He's a winner, so he knows exactly what that looks like. But that being said, he's 24 years old, 10 appearances this season, no goals, no assists, versus a guy like Antoine Semenyo, who's already got through 11 starts this season. He's got 6 goals, 3 assists, right? So what's more valuable to you? Premier League experience with a guy like Semenyo, or Champions League experience, winning that with Rodrigo, who has yet to even get off the schneid yet when it comes to goals and assists this season. So what's more valuable to you, and what is that worth in terms of dollars? Which guy is going to help you immediately? Is it Semenyo or is it Rodrigo?
That's a good question. I think from a physical standpoint, it would probably be Semenyo, because he's already rolling. He's playing, he's getting the game time, so he's not cold. He's game ready. Rodrigo is probably not game ready. He's kind of like what with Kolo Muani, where they weren't ready for games yet, and will need some time leeway, lead time to get back, time on the grass and time playing before they're truly ready, or maybe playing for 45 minutes a game and then coming off. But that said, he's, again, because he has that pedigree, playing for Real Madrid, and kind of not just one of these guys that comes off the bench. Generally, he was a starter. It's just this season he's not a starter.
Well,
and
but also
that's one of the, I guess, for Xabi Alonso, that's one of the pros and cons of being a coach of a team like Real Madrid, is you're dealing with a lot of different very strong personalities. Sure. And
the other thing about Rodrigo is the fact that Arsenal is going to be in on him in January as well too. I heard that they're prepared to make a £60 million bid on him as well too, right? And so both of them are going to have suitors for him, right? And so I guess the question is first of all, you have to figure out which one is going to help you in the short term, and then also, are you prepared? Are you prepared to make that financial commitment? Because to get either one of them, you're probably going to have to overpay because you are Tottenham. So I guess that, to me, it's really the question of which one helps you in the immediate, right? And so me personally, I just feel like it has to be Semenyo.
I would get both. If I'm going to make statement signings for, if I want to show that Daniel Levy was the problem, that's the goal. You go get Rodrigo, even if it's just on loan, and you go get Semenyo, and you make some those would be statement signings where suddenly our season would look very different.
Yeah. I've got to mention a couple of our wingers we've probably dissed the dirt on, but we've been linked with this guy before.
Taka Kubo.
Yeah, left winger, right winger, 24-year-old Japanese international.
By the way, Kubo's awesome.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, I've watched him. Too. I like him.
He's kind of small, though.
He's typical.
I get it.
From Southeast Asia, they run forever, these guys, don't they? You know what I mean?
Totally. I just don't know. I guess if we play him on the left, or would you want him as your striker?
Well, I'll have to go and pull videos up, and I'm not going to pull any videos up on players until we get gravitas on what we were interested in.
You would have to play him on the left side.
When you hear clubs are talking, agents are talking, or we've confirmed, the deal with the player itself, which is always a good way to go before you actually go approach the club, approach the agent. He taps his player up. What do you want? Yeah, they've agreed, but you need some of that, because we know that most is transfer rumor. If you went at the end of the season, you'd think we'd probably be linked with 400 players. So the only other guys a bit younger, this guy been making the noise at Bruges, 23 apiece and 8 goals, 9 assists. I haven't gone to look at him. Too. I know he's nice too. He's loaned out from Milan or something, isn't he? I think, or something like that. I think they've got a buyback on him or something. Once you get involved in those intricacies, I'm not really interested. If it's a complicated deal, no. So this guy, well, I mean, like, he could be one. We'll see. I mean, like, you've got Rob McKenzie's got 10 people under him. Five. We've got 3 scouts abroad. We've got in Italy, Portugal. Germany, Portugal, and somewhere else. But we've got enough. Our recruitment. Oh, here it is. This is our
Italy.
Yeah. Max Legoff, Germany. Joe Farrow, Portugal. Alex Fraser, UK. Giuseppe, Italy. Seb Tezzi, UK. And the last 5 are nothing. They're just analysts, right? So I like to keep a check on all this, because, like, at least they're more transparent now. We know what the recruitment team is, and that's without, Paratici and Johan Lang, and Vinay Venkatesham as well. It's without any of those. So others on the list now, strikers. This guy's another guy. I like this player, right? I know a lot of fans ribbed me over this. I liked him before I went to Juve. I still have him now. He's still young enough. As Moani's with us at the moment, I think they're not sure whether to tie him down or have tie Vlahovic down, because Moani's come to us. That might have just pissed them off, but they couldn't even afford a deal with PSG. So Juve are skint, right? But he's out of contract at the end of the season. I don't see him leaving in January unless he's offered top money. You'd have to offer him top money to come. Other than that, in the summer, every man and his dog will be after him, I think. Yeah.
He's only got 3 goals through 11 matches.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I've never really been a fan of Vlahovic.
Fair enough.
But that being said, in the right system, he actually does play pretty well. He's one of those system strikers where you actually have to have the right coach that actually, understands his strong suits and puts him in good positions to score goals. But that being said, it's like, I think a couple years, maybe 2 years ago, at Juve, he was absolutely dynamite. But the question is whether or not he can actually handle the rigors and the physicality of the Premier League. And I don't know, man. I don't think. I don't think he's a good fit for Tottenham.
I was going to mirror your sentiment there. As far as I know, a couple of seasons ago, Vlahovic was very good, and I would have taken Vlahovic at that time. But since then, he hasn't done a whole lot, and I just think he might be a bit of a panic buy, because we need a center for. We were looking for a striker, and so we're going to go for just who's available, and this is the best of who's available, or one of the best of who's available. But that doesn't mean it's the right fit. And he's never played in the Premier League, so it's always, if you spend big on a player like that who's not Premier League proven, you're always taking the risk that money goes and kind of burning in your pocket instead of.
We've been lifted with a Porto striker as well, Samu. I forget his name now. Actually, I didn't put him on this list. This guy's cropped up again, obviously because the Frank connections. But the money is on, and like the millions to buy his Saudi contract or whatever, or to pay the tax.
But Saudi's not going to get a return on that investment, right? And if the player wants out, the player wants out, right? So it's going to be exactly what his market value is. And I would probably assume that Saudi understands that they're not going to get back the investment in which they paid, right? It's the same thing when there was a few guys that got paid big money to go down there a few years ago, and they're already gone. And they left for, essentially pennies on the dollar, right? So, I mean, if Spurs want Ivan Toney and they make a competitive offer that's maybe at or just a little bit above market value and the player wants to go, he's going to go. The question is Ivan Toney the right fit for Spurs? I like Ivan Toney, by the way, and I think he's actually a talented dude. The question is that a good fit for Spurs?
I think
that's something. I don't know.
I think Thomas Frank knows how to handle his personality. I will say that. And that's something big, when the coach, because Ivan Toney obviously has a big personality and it can come off as negative or disruptive. But Thomas Frank's already dealt with that. And if he still wants the guy, it must not have been that bad. Or conversely, Thomas Frank is just very confident in himself that he can handle him. But I think Sean Butler was saying it's going to cost at least $5 million in penalties or something like that. Something crazy, 5 million pounds or some absurd number just to try to come back. Plus he'd be losing a lot of money.
Well, he only gambles it anyway.
That's I was going to say, like, when he was at Brentford, he got caught up in that gambling scandal, right? Yeah.
Right. Now, this I think is likely to happen. Loan recall to Leeds. I think Solomon will go.
Yep, he's very unhappy at Valencia.
Yeah, he's not getting game time or whatever. So I think to go back to Leeds would suit him.
I thought he said West Ham also is in for him.
Yeah, they were.
He wanted to go back to Leeds. Yeah.
So sure. I could actually see this happening. We get a loan recall. We'll actually get some money for him.
Yep.
I think we wanted about Leeds loved him, right? And they didn't want to pay it. Leeds fans wanted him. I want to talk to Jess on her show and all that. They'd have taken
he's not going to be the only loan recall. He's not going to be the only guy that's going to get recalled.
What's 20 mil for a winger? And he scored so many goals for him before.
Including the winning goal that put them back into the Premier League.
Yeah, but that was at the championship level, though. Big difference.
Came in for him in January. If they made an offer to Spurs, quietly now, if they were doing it, yeah, we're interested. Does the player want to come? Yeah, he wants to come. This all the background noise, right, could be sorted before the January window even opens, and bang, he could be gone straight to Leeds, recalled and back straight to Leeds.
Yep.
Why
and
not?
good for him. That would be good.
Yeah, let him get on with his career,
Yeah.
Yeah. This is this is because Wolves are in trouble. I don't see us going for a midfielder to the summer. What do you think? But these two guys are linked.
I would agree.
We're
Although
so
I
heavy
do like I do like the idea of João Gomes, but I would agree with you. I think that might be a summertime.
I don't see Conor Gallagher leaving Athletic anyway.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Yeah, and he's ex-Chelsea, so would he want to come to us anyway? But we're linked with him again. I think they might be willing to sell him though. It's funny situation with him there.
We need more effective forwards. I think that before we stockpile more midfielders.
Yeah, if you look at the midfielders we've got, you've got Gray, Bergvall, Sars 3, Paulina, and Bentancur's 5. Right.
But the other thing to consider is when Kulusevski comes back, you don't need Conor Gallagher because you got Kulusevski.
Yeah, you got Simmons, who's 6, Maddison 7. Now, I'm not including Kulu in this because he's versatile. I can see him playing on the right at times in games when Kudus is rested and things like that. So that's 7. I'm not against 8 midfielders, but to do that, you've got to get rid of Basuma. He's got to go. Because when you've got a squad of 25, with 22 outfield players, that's only 2 goalkeepers, 2 in every other position. The extra goalkeeper gives you 23. That gives you 2 extra players. The rigors of the Premier League, I'm not against having them extra players being midfielders. Well, we've got 7 already if Maddison does come back, right? I'm not averse to bringing a midfielder in.
Yeah, Madison's not going to be back until next season. You can take Madison out of that.
He's not
out of conversation.
But I'm just talking.
That being said, it's like
he's still going to be. He's still going to be part of the squad, though.
True. But that be. My thing is like when Kulusevski comes back, I can actually kind of see him playing in that box to box role because because he's the type of player that you have to have on the field, right? He's that versatile, he's that good, but he's also not a liability as well too. He gets forward, he actually creates, he scores goals, but he's also very defensively sound as well too. In that situation, it's like me personally, like if we have a guy like Kulusevski back, I actually start him over Bentancur because I just think he plays the role a lot better. But I do agree with your assessment when it comes to versatility because he also has that in his locker as well too, where he can play a couple different positions. But that being said, it's like why would you pay the $60+ million to bring in a guy like Conor Gallagher when you have a Dejan Kulusevski?
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily. To me, I think that's just a waste of money that can go in a different area of the pitch.
Right, I'm going to give the channel a plug. We're not going to go for much longer. We're going to talk about the new rule introduced in a minute.
Before you do, I have to run, Adrian. I got to go pick up my son.
Oh, you got to go now, yeah?
Yeah.
All right then. All right, thanks for coming.
Right, thank you, as always. Great to see you.
Where's your banner up here? Up the top here somewhere?
It's towards the top.
There you go.
There you go. For those of you watching on various platforms, get over to Alan's. This is the link to his channel. Get over there.
And I'm definitely going to do a reaction to the game, to the North London Derby. So,
okay.
Hopefully we're hoping for smiles and not frowns and crying. But
well, that would make a change.
No frowns.
Come on, you Spurs.
No frowns.
Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next Friday.
Yes, sounds good.
All right, and then there was 2. Yeah, just we'll give the channel a quick plug. There's 40 of you watching us on various platforms, 42 now, whatever. If you like our content, you can see the red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. We can't. Please hit the subscribe button. We do base ourselves on being a mature and sensible, fact-based Spurs group. We do have a Facebook channel, Spurs Diehards. We do have a WhatsApp group. We do have an XCOM group. We do have a Discord. Right, we've got other, platforms. If you use those platforms, you're more than welcome to join. If any of you want a guest on the show, we need your details. You just have to contact us through WhatsApp or through XCOM, the Spurs Diehards there. Just private message, chat us with your phone number and all that, and then we can add you to the WhatsApp group, and you can guest on our shows. Right. With that, I want to thank everyone in the chat channel for your questions and comments as well. Big up to everyone who watches us on playback. And with that, we'll move on to our last banner.
Yeah.
Which is this. The Premier League PRS rule beginning 2026-27, that should be. My typo there. The old FE2 rule was replaced. Clubs allowed to spend 85% of the total revenue. Clubs in Europe, I think, can only spend 75% of the total revenue. I'll come to that in a minute. So basically what they're saying, FFP, financial play, goes at the end of the season. And that used to be meant that clubs could lose £35 million a year for 3 years. Now we've got a new PSR rule coming in, which I'm assuming will be a yearly thing because it's lost leg complex. And under that rule, clubs like Chelsea will not be able to sell the hotel or their women's football team to themselves. That's been changed. So that's a plus as far as I'm concerned. Now, this 85%, what it is, for example, just to give you an analogy, right? If your club earned 500 million in total revenue and you still owed 300 million on players, wages, agents, ex-managers, blah, 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 that is football-related liability against that sum. You can still spend as a club as much money as you like on your women's team, your infrastructure. You could build a new stadium. You're not affected by that. But the money you owe, the debt you owe on players, agents, wages, that counts. So, for example, 85%. If you earned 500 million and you had 300 million outstanding on players' wages, contracts, agencies, blah, 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 that would come off. That would leave you with 200 million. Then you could spend 85% of that. That's how it works, to my understanding. If I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll be corrected and I'll be the first one to apologise. Now, that's fine for the Premier League. But if you get to the end of the season, you're in Europe, different rules apply. They have their own FAP rules of what clubs can spend. So in other words, you're not going to outcompete them in the Premier League by being able to spend more than clubs can in Europe, the same proportion on your revenue, to gain you an unfair advantage, basically, or gain other leagues in Europe which are richer than other leagues in Europe an unfair advantage. I get it. Good or bad thing, Steve? Good or bad thing, in your opinion?
And I guess it depends on if the loopholes are 100% closed, right? Like I'll give you a good example, right? So what Chelsea does with their sister clubs is they will sell players to their sister clubs, like Strasbourg, so they can show profit. And then what they'll do is they'll loan those players back to the club at a reduced salary. That allows them to keep the player and still get profit, right? So if the loopholes are absolutely closed, especially when it comes to multi-club ownership, then it's 100%. I'm 100% for it. You know, one of the things about this new PSR is that you're absolutely right. So now teams can spend up to 85% of their total revenue, minus the cost of their overhead, which is revenue on player wages, amortized transfer costs, and agent fees. But the other thing is that clubs will also have a 30% multi-year allowance to spend above the 85% threshold. Though exceeding that will trigger a financial penalty, and if they exceed it a second time or they go higher, which is considered the red threshold, that's when sporting sanctions come in. My biggest problem with this is what is the responsibility of the Premier League when it comes to this, right? Is this going to be more money for the EFL, right? Is there going to be I guess you could say more of is there going to be a bigger percentage of solidarity payments that go down the chain? Because the discrepancy between the Championship, the Premier League is already a wide gap. And now if you have teams spending 85% of the revenue and those teams are getting better, what does that mean for the teams that come up through promotion? And what is that going to mean? Is this going to be a situation where, teams are no longer going to stay up? And is this just going to be more of a yo-yo situation, which I don't think is actually good for the Premier League as a whole, right? So I guess the question is like, okay, cool. So now we have new PSR rules, and I actually think it's kind of smart, and especially for a team like Tottenham, it's going to because this team is very good when it comes to revenue, and I think the Deloitte Money League currently has them number 8 or 9 right now at 600. Last year was 615 million, and so even if half of that is owed with overhead, that still gives them like $320 million still left to spend. If we're going off that number, that's still a big pocket of change for them to improve the club. Okay, that's great for individual clubs that draw big revenue, but what does that mean for the rest of English football? And what responsibility does the Premier League have, making sure that solidarity payments get bigger and it improves the second and third, fourth, fifth division of English football? Because I actually think that's also very important in this conversation as well too.
Yeah, I mean, this has got me. You make a good point, because this has got me thinking of the new. The football governance bill will pass through Parliament. The person put in charge, and regulator, has already been appointed, because I know the bill's going for, and two of his assistants, or one of his assistants, and the bit about fair distribution of funds to the lower leagues, I think the football regulator is going to have a say in this. I think the football, I mean, I know it's mixed opinions on whether the regulator's a good or a bad thing, but to me, Rick Parry and his cohorts have brought this all on himself for all this mismanagement, all this trouble we've got now with Man City and the rules, and their verdict was supposed to come out in November, and we all know they're probably going to fudge it to the end of the season. I mean, imagine if they docked Man City 20 points now. Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's that's a great question as well too, right? Because Man City Man City has to be dealt with. Also, Chelsea has to be dealt with.
Chelsea got 74 charges as well.
Yeah. So and it's like what happens to those clubs?
I mean, I suppose what's come out, we'll get more detail on this. I don't know when the clubs voted on this. They might have voted on this a month ago. Who knows? Or they might have just voted for it this week. Who knows? And it's just been announced. Right, but there'll be more details to be ironed out. But obviously, if you're a club that's not in Europe, you can spend a bit more. But you probably find that the clubs that aren't in Europe are the poorer clubs anyway. But they can spend a bit more. They can spend 85%. But it's like clubs that are in Europe, Man City, Liverpool, hopefully us, whoever's in with us, Chelsea, Arsenal. When they get to all right, so 85% is fine. But if we do that, we'll fall foul of UEFA rules for European competitions. And so there'll be a consequence, obviously, for that. So that's just an update for you guys. I've got a couple more things, actually. The yellow cards so far, Premier League. If Moreira gets one more before the 80th game, he's on a ban. But it's only a one-match ban, so you got to expect this throughout the season. Kudus has got 3. Probably get sick and tired of being kicked. Pele's got 3 as well. So yeah.
What's crazy is that Johnson and Richarlison have 2 already. That to me seems a little crazy that Richarlison has 2, but
yeah. I mean, I haven't. You don't even know the other ones, and there's just
same thing with Spence really too. That's actually kind of funny too. Now that you see it, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. One more piece of information for you we can discuss. Mikey Moore scored for Rangers recently. Seems to have settled in well under new manager, playing well. Rangers fans are loving him now. I see what he can do. I knew he'd do well up there. I knew he would. Yeah. Even though he started poorly. I've watched this kid so much.
It's Russell Martin. Yeah, Russell Martin's not a good coach. So.
And Vuskovic, I'm getting sick and tired of us being linked with centre-backs. We've got 2 in Dragusin and Takai. We don't know. We haven't seen Takai. Dragusin, we've seen him. He's been hit and miss, and Euro's good night. He's good and bad for us. Got sent off. Positional play suspect. We know he's good in the end. He's got pace. I think Frank can get a tune out of him. He's quick, but he's a tall lad, so he's got a long stride anyway. But to us to be linked with centre-backs, especially if they're not left-footed anyway, when Vuskovic is absolutely smashing it in Hamburg now. I mean, the first game he had out there when he went there, they lost 5-0 to Bayern, but that's understandable. Since then, he's got the best-headed stats in Europe, blah, blah, blah. And I think, if it was me, he stays there. And our scouts are constantly monitoring while we're out there. what I've heard, like they're constantly monitoring when they're out there, so they'll know. They'll be relaying information back. Woo! I'd be going, don't even think about a centre back. This kid's going to be a superstar, right? Every league he's been in, you know, his own league, till he went to the Polish league, till he went to the Belgian league, upgrading now to the Bundesliga, which is higher than the Championship. So his next step up to me should be Premier League, Steve.
I agree. The interesting one, yeah. And what's funny is you and I were talking about Veskovic, and it's like, you know, if the juice is worth the squeeze, and he's proving he can do it in the Bundesliga, he's ready to come back and contribute now. But you know, I think you mentioned something about it makes sense keeping him over there for the rest of the year, and then next season you can integrate him into the first team. But the one that really stands out is Jamie Donnelly with Stoke. He's getting absolutely zero time with Stoke, and you wonder whether or not that jump from League One to the Championship might have been a little bit too big of a jump for him, because like he can't find any semblance of minutes in the first team whatsoever with Stoke. And so I guess the question, you know, we were talking about home dude coming back from Real Sociedad off a loan in January. You know, you wonder if Donnelly's going to come back on loan in January as well too, because when you look at some of the guys that have actually done a very good job, I'm thinking of the Korean kid that's with
Young-min Hook.
Yeah, and he's actually playing pretty well. I think he's with QPR right now, playing pretty well. You know, Will Lancashire's playing pretty well. Ajay's playing pretty well. It's like some of these guys are getting serious minutes in their loans.
Conley scored for Northern Ireland. Phillips is doing it. Torres all scored recently.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. I mean, it's Northern Ireland. But when it comes to his club, he's not even getting on the pitch.
I mean,
he's not getting any minutes with Stoke.
He's an absolute bowler. You know, he's like a Gascoigne ball carrying style player.
You talking about Donnelly? Tyrese
Hall. Tyrese Hall. Tyrese Hall.
Yeah,
Tyrese Hall. I think he scored. Lancashire scored, didn't he? Let's say Jai's doing okay. Doncaster. Dorrington's. He's doing okay in Scotland, but they haven't got no money. Aberdeen haven't got no money. Divine's at Blackburn, I think, isn't it? He was doing okay there. Abbott's injured, done his quad. Right, was really smashing it. Then he got injured. So that's a little roundup. And again, I missed Young-min Hook over there. And he's playing well. He smashed a few goals in for Portsmouth, didn't he? Portsmouth.
Yeah, that's right. He's with Pompey. That's right. I thought, last year was QPR. He's with Pompey this year. That's right.
Yeah. So that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Like I say, guys, I want to thank everyone. Thank my guest, Alan and Steve. Let's get his thing up again. You can find Steve here, Stateside Footy. Get over there. He does a lot of work. He's not got the subs he deserves, actually. He will if he keeps working as hard as he does. So we just come naturally.
The subs are going up, man. We're actually inching close. We're actually inching close to 500 right now, and you know, over the course of the last 3 months, the subs have gone drastically up. So I'm quite happy with it. But we still got a long ways to go. But yes, do head over there and make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, the notification bells as well too, because this weekend we have the pre-match buildup, which is going to be on Saturday as we talk about this game, Spurs versus Arsenal in depth, and of course on Sunday we have the Hotspur watch along as we you know, I like to do the play-by-play, so it's going to be fun.
And I shall be hosting Sunday's show while Ian's on his cruise in the Caribbean, around South America and whatever.
That's not surprising.
Yeah,
that guy's a baller. He's a baller.
Sunday's show will go at 9:30 UK, so whatever time that is with you on the east, it's probably, I don't know if your clocks have changed or whatever. I don't know. So
we're 5 hours behind. So you're talking 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we'll go at that time of those of you in America and that in Canada. I know it's less hours the further west you go. Yeah. So with that, I want to thank Steve, thank Alan for coming on. It's been a good show. We've actually got things to talk about. We'll get more things to talk about when football's on. I know transfers are not my particular love, I've got to admit, until we get gravitas on players. We'll see that. And with that, all I can do is thank everyone again. Like I say, hit the subscribe button in the bottom right corner if you like the content. Give the video a thumbs up. And come on, you Spurs. I'm going to end the stream. Play
Come on,
that
you Spurs.
with a bit of soul. I think it's soul music. I wrote the lyrics. I didn't do the music.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die.